Today, we're going to be talking about marriage. Some hard stuff, some things that you may know. I don't know. But my encouragement or my prayer is that it would be an encouragement to you into your marriage. And maybe you're not in a marriage and you're watching this. Maybe, you're dating someone and you're serious or not so serious. My encouragement to you is that use these tools and the things we're going to talk about and apply them to your marriage or your future marriage. Okay. You ready?
I'm not ready.
No holds barred. Come on, let's go. Okay, first topic on the topic of marriage is I believe that marriage exposes your heart. I believe that marriage reveals who you actually are.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I don't think I knew how, what's the word? I don't think I knew how selfish I was until I got married and I had to love someone. Or I didn't have to. I get to love someone every single day like Jesus. And you realize how selfish you are in that. What do you think?
I mean, I think you said this to me. Marriage is like a mirror. It's like a two-way mirror where it's like you see all the things that, all the flaws, all the trauma in yourself by being married, because it all comes out. And so that's been my experience where I've been like, whoa, I have a lot of stuff that I didn't know was there, or I ignored it. Maybe I did know it was there, but then it would come up to the surface and I'd be like, oh my gosh, whoa.
Yeah. 100%.
This is deep.
100%. Yeah. I think that marriage, like you said, is a mirror. And I think it shows us how broken we are.
Oh yeah.
And it shows the cracks right within us. I can just think of so many scenarios and situations where I was like, man, I just did not realize, when you're not in a relationship and when you're not in a marriage, you just think about yourself. You think about yourself. You think about, how do I get myself from this day to the next? How do I, fend for myself? How do I provide for myself? And so getting into a marriage, you realize that the world you lived in, which was a selfish world, it no longer exists. You have to think about the other person. And that changes even more when you have kids, because then you got to think about your whole family unit.
Yeah.
And every decision you make impacts your whole entire family. Every decision you make impacts your spouse, your child. I think it reveals some of those natural, even sinful tendencies sometimes, right? Of just little tiny things. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I even think of this scripture just as we were talking about this. This is 1 Peter 4:8. It says, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. And so I think that at the end of the day, even with that mirror of marriage, we have to love each other.
Yeah. And love, I think, as you get further into your marriage, you're in love with your spouse. Like for me,
this is good. Yeah, come on.
For me, I was super in love with Joe when we first.
Yeah, you were.
Oh my gosh, I still am, but I just think love changes. You make the choice to love the other person.
Wow.
And you make the choice to serve the other person in the way that they receive love. And I think when it doesn't work is when one person is trying to do that, but the other is not. So it's like you could be...
elaborate on that.
Well, you're going to have seasons, right, where you're in and out of love, falling in and out of love. But when both of you are trying to serve the other one in the way that they receive love, then it's like you're getting filled, refilled over and over again, and your cup isn't empty, because you're like, I know Like the way Joe and I receive love is so different. His love language is
talk about that, unpack that.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, Joe's love language is words of affirmation and physical touch.
Yep.
Those are not mine.
And good food. That's the third one.
Yeah, great food.
Which you're an awesome cook. So
thanks.
Yeah, that's not a real love language.
I'm working on it.
By the way.
But so yours are that. Mine are not that. Mine are
gifts.
Mine are gifts.
Quality time.
And quality time. And so
not in that order, I would say.
It's more quality time than gifts.
Yeah.
So with Joe, it's like I could tell you, you're amazing. You're an amazing husband.
Oh, goes right to my heart.
Yeah, you're a great father. Man, you did great doing this. And, you know, give you like hugs and kisses all day. You're happy.
Fills my
tank.
tank.
You're happy, so happy.
Yeah.
For me, you will give
I think
me,
SJ's the same way, by the way.
Yeah.
I think when when you speak words of affirmation to him, he just kind of lights up like he sees it. Which
he
children
loves that.
I think should be that way.
Yeah,
you should be encouraging and affirming them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Anyways,
sure.
yeah.
So
and you,
mine, I could care less if you tell me I'm good.
right.
I did good in this. I don't know why. I just don't.
I don't think it's that you don't care about it. I just don't think it means it's not super valuable to you.
No, it's not.
Or not as valuable as these other things.
It's not. Like words just are not they're not a meaningful, like I will encourage other people, but for me,
Can I play like therapist real quick? Just
Go
for like
ahead.
5 seconds. I think that words of affirmation don't mean a lot to you because I think that and I'm gonna go super deep here.
Oh gosh, am I gonna cry?
No, I don't think
Okay.
I think this is my theory. I don't think that that means a lot to you because growing up you had a lot of mistrust and you had a lot of maybe like things that were being spoken that were not like being fulfilled, or things that were like being promised to you and said to you that were not actually happening or true. And on the other side of that, I think also there were words that were used against you. And so I think for you, you almost hit this switch of like, I don't care what anybody says because I need to almost survive, you know, emotionally. And I can't receive the negative words of discouragement. That's my theory on why words of affirmation.
That's your theory?
Is not a big thing.
Huh.
You can think about that. Pray about it.
Well, no.
Take that to the Lord.
I think you're right. You're definitely right. I think I heard a lot of things growing up that just, they were not, that just wasn't truth. And I had to sift through it. And I think, you know, it's
hard to do as a child.
It is hard to do as a child. And I think as a, like
no
for
child
SJ,
should have to do that.
Yeah. For SJ, like if we tell him something, he should be able to trust and believe.
Take our word.
Yes, that we're telling him the truth. And I think I just didn't. I constantly was like, is that true? Is that real? Is that, you know, and this is, I'm not like calling like my parents out because I love my parents. And I think God has allowed me to see them through like a childlike lens after having my child, where I've forgiven them for anything that's happened. And I think about the good things that they did for me, but there was a lot of mistrust when it came to, you know, someone like giving you their word that was broken so many times that now, I don't, or like you said, things being spoken over me that just were not true. They were lies. And
it was what's that word when you project?
I think it was projections onto me, and I carried those for so long. So words just don't hold a lot of weight to me, unless it is from scripture. Like it just doesn't,
for sure.
It just doesn't hold a lot of weight.
Well, and it's the opposite for me.
Yeah, so like why do you think for you?
I think for me it's because my parents spoke so much life into me growing up. that I think for me, like, yeah, it was just something that was so pivotal and formative to like my upbringing that when you do it, it reinforces that healthiness that I grew up with. And it feels like, oh man, like it's just something you're used to, you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you do it, it means a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that'll be the same for SJ, like we just mentioned a minute ago, is that because we do that so much with him, I think that whoever his future spouse is that we're praying for, I think will also be able to love on him in that same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's a prayer of ours. But going back to our
quality time and gifts.
Yeah, I think so
That's yours.
Yeah, those are my when we are like serving each other in
Yeah.
ways that maybe we don't have the same love language, but I'm actively trying to do that for you and then you're trying to do that for me. There's a certain like sweetness in that effort of knowing like my spouse is going out of their way to do these things.
Yeah. It's sacrificial.
It's very sacrificial.
So the 5 love languages, which is a great book, you should read it if you ever get the chance. It's called The 5 Love Languages. It's words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and also what am I missing? Quality time, gifts,
physical touch.
Physical touch. That's the 5th one. Yes,
okay.
Physical touch. So anyways, and these are ways, like you're saying, these are ways that you receive love. These are not the ways that you give love, because you should be giving love. And that's another thing that we'll get to, is you should be expressing love in the way that your spouse receives love, because it's more convenient to express love the way that you receive it. But that's not how it works. You express it the way that your partner and your spouse receive it.
Yeah, and we went through that.
Yep.
Where you were like giving me words of affirmation and physical touch.
And also I at one point I was doing like acts of service. I remember one time I bought you it was like a fridge or something.
What are you about to? Okay.
Oh no, it was a washer and dryer. I got you a washer and dryer because you were needing one. And I remember having this actual conversation of like you were telling me that like you were not feeling loved, basically. Like you were not feeling like connected. And I was like, I've been doing all these things for you. And you're like, these are great practical things that I need. But you said something along the lines of like, this was when we were we were engaged. And you were like, but that's not how I receive love. You said something along those lines. And I remember that was such like a like mind shift moment for me of like, oh my gosh, like she's right. Like I've been giving her, like I've been thinking about what she needs from a practical sense, but that's not actually what is like, that's not how she feels loved. And I remember that moment being like a turning point for me.
And what did you think after that?
I thought, man, this is all I have to give her, so I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Oh my god!
I got a washer and dryer, And what's funny is like the washer I think I gave you didn't even work or something.
Yeah, you
remember
tried.
That stupid? Yeah, anyways.
You brought it all the way
from like
Clute.
Yeah, Clute, which is like Alvin, Texas, League City over there, and like drove it like it's like 4 hours. Or something.
You tried
in a truck and. Anyways, got ripped off. We won't get into that. But yeah, I think, in our early years of marriage, I don't even think I understood the concept of like how to give you love that you need versus like just loving on you in the way. Okay, so like for instance, this is just an example. I love when we watch movies and we're just together.
Yeah.
Like we're just cuddling, we're in each other's presence, and we're enjoying a movie together. That's love that.
Quality time for Joe.
Okay.
It's watching a movie together.
Okay, but what's so funny is like it didn't even dawn on me until maybe like a year or two ago that like that is not quality time. And it's not it's not quality time for you because we're not talking. We're not having any sort of like deep conversations. We're totally focused on something that is not each other. And it was such a pivotal moment for me of like, whoa, like I cannot even like believe that I've been thinking that this is quality time for you as well as it is for me. And so anyways, that's just a small example.
You really thought, you were like, yeah, we're both good.
Because
Like, this is what quality time is to her. And this is great.
I don't think that like I knew obviously like going on dates and us like, connecting in that way is quality time. But I think I lumped this into that too of this is quality time as well. Like we're spending time together, we're doing something together. But it obviously is not. And so that was even just a mind shift for me because growing up, and this is something we'll get into as well, is like in marriage, you tend to repeat things that you've seen and your baggage that you're bringing in, even from like your parents and your upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was raised with my parents always watching a movie and like us like getting together in the living room. We would literally have all of our family, like all three of my siblings, plus, like nephews and nieces and cousins, and we'd all be in the living room watching a movie.
Yeah.
And that was quality time for us.
And we still do that. Like,
we do.
I know if we're going to go spend time with your family, like something that will happen is we'll all be sitting there and we'll end up somehow watching videos either on like music, live music.
Yeah, because me and my dad, we share
dim sum.
That passion. Oh,
we sit there and we watch videos on dim sum.
Why did you have to say dim sum? Oh,
I know it sounds amazing right now, but every time we're sitting there and we're all like, wow, that looks so good. And I'm like, can we go eat it?
Yeah.
Actually go eat it.